Hi, my name is Amalia Weber. I'm the program specialist here at Rochester Hills Public Library, and I'd like to welcome you to this evening's program, Resources and Guidance for the 2025 Tax Filing Season. Before we get started, I'd like to take care of a few housekeeping details. Firstly, tonight's program will be recorded and available to view about 1 week from tonight on our YouTube page and on the RHPL website shortly after. We ask the audience members please silence or turn off their cell phones before we begin in order to avoid any disturbances during the presentation. Be sure to come back to the library tomorrow evening, January 17th, for our annual after-hours event, Winter Wonder Library. Celebrate the beauty of Michigan in the wintertime with warm refreshments, themed crafts, and more. Our next program in this room is a concert with the Boston Edison Band, which will be an in-person event on Sunday, January 19th at 2 p.m. You can sign up for that at calendar.rhpl.org. Without further ado, please welcome our presenters, Nora Tisha and Crystal Marshall.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Resources and Guidance for the 2025 tax filing season. I am Noor Atisha, a Senior Stakeholder Liaison at the Internal Revenue Service in Detroit office. A little bit about me: before joining the IRS, I worked in the private sector as a senior tax consultant where I prepared and reviewed tax returns for various tax clients and also, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, no problem. Okay. I can speak louder. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so like I said, before joining the IRS, I worked as a senior tax consultant where I prepared and reviewed tax returns for various clients. I also helped them with tax planning to meet their financial goals. I also enjoyed mentoring the interns and new staff so they can develop the skills needed and succeed in the field. Joining me today is my colleague Crystal Marshall, a senior stakeholder liaison based in Portage, Michigan. She drove all the way from Portage just to be with us today, so thank you, Crystal, for being here. Crystal has over 20 years of experience in financial compliance and government industries. She has also operated a professional service firm assisting individuals and small businesses with tax liabilities, reporting, filing, and record keeping. Let me take a moment to explain who we are and what we do. So as stakeholder liaisons, so we act as a bridge between the IRS and external stakeholders. That includes tax professionals, small business and self-employed taxpayers, and industry organizations. Our main goal is to provide you with tools, information, and education you need to better understand tax laws and compliance requirements. At the same time, we gather feedback because we want to improve our services. Before we get started, I want to thank Rochester Hills Public Library for providing this platform, and also to each one of you for taking time out of your schedule to be here with us. I need to share a quick disclaimer. This information in this presentation is for general information purposes only and does not constitute legal, tax, or financial advice. Tax laws and regulations can change due to court decisions, new legislation, or IRS updates. So we encourage you to consult a trusted tax professional or advisor about your specific situation. For most accurate and up-to-date information, visit the IRS website at www.irs.gov. Here's our agenda for this evening. We'll talk about getting IRS help, resources getting ready to file, claiming tax credits and deductions, protecting against identity theft. Then we'll wrap up with sharing our contact information, and we will answer any questions you have. The library will email you a copy of the PowerPoint slides, and you'll notice some of the slides will have QR codes, so feel free to scan them to access to the corresponding pages. It's also important to remember that understanding your federal tax responsibilities is just one piece of the puzzle. Don't forget to pay attention to your state and local tax requirements as well. With that being said, I'll pass it over to my colleague Crystal to go over our first topic, which is getting IRS help.
Thanks, Nor. And good evening to everyone. So with the 2025 filing season among us, we in the tax community stand at the threshold of new challenges and opportunities. And this evening, I'm going to guide you through some of the most identified challenges, ensuring that you're not just prepared for this filing season, but that you have what you need to thrive all year long as taxpayers. So we'll begin by looking at the IRS website. Each year, millions of taxpayers take advantage of the tools that we have on our website, irs.gov. This site is available 24 hours a day. No matter what time of day you want to wake up and roll over and click here and click there, all the information that you need as a taxpayer is there. We often hear gimmicks online or on the radio. Come do your business with us. We'll share with you the secrets that IRS doesn't want you to know. And I'm going to be honest, there are no secrets. Everything that you want to know as a taxpayer is on our website. We even have audit technique guides that tells you what the revenue officers are looking for when they audit your return. So there's no secrets, there's no gimmicks. Everything that you need is on irs.gov. So whether you use a home computer or your mobile phone, you can quickly go to our website for all your needs. And again, nearly every issue can be resolved online. So on the screen, I've highlighted credits and deductions at the top of the page, the IRS free file, where's my refund, and sign into your online account. These are some of our most sought after pages. And we'll be sharing more information about these resources tonight. And then from our website, you can also browse our tools webpage that's available for individual taxpayers, businesses, and tax professionals. And again, these tools are available all year long, but they peak during tax filing season. So with the new filing season starting here in 11 days, we want you to know if you prefer to communicate with the IRS in a language other than English, you can now get your tax information in about 21 different languages. And we're striving to translate even more of our resources to better serve you as taxpayers. For example, on irs.gov, we now have web pages available in 7 other languages, which include Spanish, Vietnamese, Russian, Korean, Haitian Creole, and Chinese Simplified and Traditional. And you can get to these web pages by using the drop-down arrow at the top of the home page. And we also offer basic tax information in about 21 languages that you can choose from to get the information that you need to file and pay your taxes. You can also change your language for the preface that you so desire by using a Form 1040 Schedule LEP. This form has the instructions that are available in English and 20 other languages and can be filed with your tax return. Now, if you interact with us over the phone, you have immediate access to over-the-phone interpreter services, which is available in more than 350 languages. And then if you are a social media user, you can also find multilingual information on our Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube platforms. We also offer information in American Sign Language. So for more information, you can visit our languages page on irs.gov. Now, as I mentioned moments ago, irs.gov should be the first and primary resource that you use for accurate tax information. And this is our Let Us Help You page. It has links to information and resources that are most requested by taxpayers every year, which includes IRS letters, payments and penalties, correcting a return, free tax preparation help, finding your local IRS office, and more. So to get a jump start this filing season, you can scan the QR code right now, or wait until you get your personal PDF after tonight's presentation. But once you get to this page, you just expand the plus signs and you'll see all the information that is there. And again, if you want help in another language, you can change the translation on that page by selecting the preferred language as shown at the top. So in addition to irs.gov and telephone assistance, you can also get in-person help at one of our taxpayer assistance centers, which we call TAC offices. You can make an appointment for an in-person services all year round by contacting your local office from our webpage or by using the locator tool, which is also on our webpage. Now, the TAC offices are open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 local time. However, during the filing season, we normally extend our hours, so that will start this year, January 21st, and will run through May 1st. And here in Michigan, we have a few offices. One location is in Detroit. We have an office in Grand Rapids, Flint, Saginaw, and then one as far north as Traverse City. And then this is our interactive tax assistant or ITA tool, which is another valuable resource for you this filing season. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, this will help you understand basic tax laws and your reporting responsibilities. So based on your input and how you interact with this tool, it will help provide answers to some of your most common questions and it'll help you potentially maximize credits that you can take to either lower your tax liability or give you a bigger refund. For example, if you're unsure about your tax situation, if you have a new child, new work, purchased a house, somebody's going to school, and you're not sure what your filing status should be, if you can claim a dependent, like if you're taking care of a niece or a nephew, if your income is taxable or non-taxable, and if you can claim other credits, the ITA tool can help you with all those questions and more. And one caveat that I want to share with you, which is not a bad thing, any information that you put into the tool is safe and protected, but it does not save or share any of your information. So once you log out of the tool, that information is permanently erased. And before I get ready to turn it back over to Nora, I just want to share one of the most important online services that we currently offer, which is our online accounts. And on your screen is the individual online account. It is one of 3 self-service tools that allow you as individuals, business owners if you own a business, and tax professionals to easily view and manage your account information online with the IRS. Now, by a show of hands, and we're going to be honest, who has an IRS online account already? Nora, raise your hand. Ah, okay. So for those that do, okay, you said, I did say be honest. So for those that do, we thank you. For those that do not yet, Nora, we ask that you get one. And yes, one of the reasons, besides some of the things that I'm going to get ready to go through, new this year, if you have an online account, you're able to enroll into the IP PIN, which is the Identity Protection PIN. And there's so many scams on the rise. Scams that target our seniors, scams that target business owners, scams that target individuals if your Social Security number is breached for whatever reason. If you have an identity protection PIN, it stops someone from filing a return using your Social Security number, whether you have a filing requirement or not. And in order to get your IP PIN, you need an online account. That's just one of the reasons. Another reason, starting this filing season, is if you have a dependent and you have one of those relationship situations where another parent could, file your dependent on their return this year, and you guys switch back and forth, you know how it goes. If your child or your dependent Social Security number is used and filed on a return this year with an IP PIN, if you also claim that dependent on your return, you can file that return electronically and bypass the edit or the error rejection that you used to get years ago when a duplicate Social Security number pops up in our system. So in years past, you would have to file a paper form and it would take long, and you would have to prove that you are the person who should be filing this dependent on the return. So new this year, if the primary taxpayer on the 1040 has an IP PIN, you can bypass that. So there's 2 reasons why you need the online account. But I'm going to ask another question and then I'll move on. How many of you have a bank account with a financial institution? Nora, raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have access to your bank account online and you use it? Okay, so same thing. If you're living and your social security number still works, which it does because we all have breath in our bodies, you should definitely have an IRS online account, and I encourage you to get one tonight or this weekend when you're not doing anything, or even tomorrow night if you're laying in bed and have nothing else to do. It's very important as we try to help taxpayers bridge the gap between long wait lines and just keeping their information protected. Everything that you need is on this account, where you can get access to your personal tax information, including tax return transcripts. You can look at your payment history if you have a tax liability, certain notices that have went out to you from IRS, again, your identity protection PIN, prior year adjusted gross information, especially if you're going to be using a different tax return preparer this year. Sometimes they ask for the prior year AGI. That information can also be found in your online account, as well as you can see any power of attorney information that we have on file. And two, another reason, new this year, and it actually started late last year, but they have the capability for secure two-way messaging. So if your return is flagged for whatever reason and IRS needs to communicate with you, correspond with you in any kind of way, you can do so through secure two-way messaging through your online account. So another caveat as to why you really need an online account this year. So whether you are an individual taxpayer or you are a small business owner and you report your income using a Schedule C and your social security number, you can manage both your personal and your business tax information in one platform. The online account is also available in Spanish. And then one thing that I want to let you know for those who have not signed up yet, you know what, is when you get ready to go in, you have to authenticate your identity. And we use the ID.me platform, and it's a secure platform. It protects your identity, and all federal agencies are using this platform. So when you click on it and you get rerouted, don't think, oh my God, what's happening here? It's legit. ID.me is what we use. And if you happen to have a login information with another agency like Social Security, and you already have a username and password, you can use that same one for the online account. So publication 5533 is there for you on our website if you want more information or more reasons why you should get that online account. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Nora, who will discuss what you need to know to prepare your return in the coming weeks.
So in this section, we'll explore strategies and tips to ensure you are fully prepared for the filing season ahead. We recommend you check out the Get Ready to File Your Taxes page on irs.gov. It's a great resources, provides great resources packed with tips, tools, and helpful information to make filing your 2024 federal income tax return easier. You'll find a lot of key tax season information from irs.gov right in publication 5348, Get Ready to File. It's helpful to make sure you are prepared before you sit down to file. It walks you through things like checking your withholding, getting your documents in order, and staying on top of any tax law changes. It's a great way to avoid last-minute scrambling and helps make the whole process a lot smoother. Let's talk about VIDA. How many of you guys are familiar with VIDA? Oh, no. Okay, so that's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program that has been helping taxpayers for over 50 years. VIDA sites and volunteer return preparers offer free tax help to qualifying taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their returns. This includes people who generally make $67,000 or less, people with disabilities, also limited English speaking taxpayers. So VIDA can assist with preparing tax returns for previous years, including helping taxpayers claim the 2021 child tax credit and the 2021 recovery rebate credits. In addition to VIDA, there's another program that's called TCE, stands for the Tax Counseling for the Elderly. That program offers free tax help with a focus on individuals 60 years or older. So TCE volunteers specialize in answering questions about pension and retirement-related issues unique to seniors. So if you want to find the closest free tax return preparation help, taxpayers can use VIDA Locator tool on irs.gov, or you can call 800-906-9887. You can also scan the QR code on the screen, which will take you directly to the VIDA page on irs.gov. Scroll to the bottom of the page to access Locator tools for both VIDA and TCE services. There are many locations here in Michigan, including sites in Clinton Township, Pontiac, Detroit, and many other cities. These services can make a real difference in helping taxpayers file their returns accurately and on time. Before going to a VIDA or TCE site, see publication 3676B for services provided and check out what to bring to ensure you have all the required documents and information our volunteers need to help you. So everything I said is on that page, okay? Including the publication. Another thing I want to talk about is the IRS Free File Program, which is a partnership between the IRS and several tax preparation companies that provide free online tax preparation and filing services for eligible taxpayers. There are two ways to use Free File. The first one is guided tax preparation. This option provides free online tax preparation and filing through IRS Partners website. It's available to taxpayers with an adjusted gross income, which we call AGI, of $84,000 or less. The software walks you through the process step by step, making it easier to complete your return. So you might be wondering, what is AGI? So AGI, which is the adjusted gross income, that would be the total gross income, such as wages, interest, and other income, minus certain adjustments like student loan interest or IRA contributions. So AGI is an important figure because it determines eligibility for various tax credits and deductions. Including free file services, you can find your AGI on line 11 of your Form 1040 for 2024. The other option for free tax return preparation would be free file fillable forms. That's if your AGI is more than $84,000. So this option is for taxpayers who are comfortable preparing their own tax returns. There are electronic federal tax forms that are similar to a paper 1040. But it requires you to know how to complete your own return using IRS instructions. The IRS Free File Service for the 2025 tax season opened on Friday, January 12, 2025, giving millions of taxpayers an opportunity to file their federal taxes for free. These services are only available for the current tax year. So if you want to access a free file, visit irs.gov/freefile. Let's talk about choosing a pay-to-prepare. So if you decide to use a pay-to-prepare, remember, you are still legally responsible for the information on your tax return. So let's review some points you need to be aware of. First, avoid preparers who claim they can obtain larger refunds than others. Avoid preparers who base their fees on the amount of your refund. Avoid preparers who won't sign the tax return. So you can find the signature on the bottom of page 2 of 1040, the section labeled Paid Preparer Use Only. Also, they don't give you a copy for your records. Never sign a blank return and never sign a completed form without reviewing it and making sure you understand the return. It's always a good idea to ask the tax preparer to go over your tax return. Consider whether the preparer will still be available to answer questions about the return for months or even years after the tax return is filed. You don't want to go with someone that disappeared after the tax season. The IRS now has a registration and certification process for preparers to ensure that you are working with an honest and reliable preparer. Make sure that the paid preparer has a valid IRS preparer tax identification number, also known as a PTIN. All preparers, whatever their professional designation, must have a valid PTIN. You can find more tips on irs.gov. Simply type choosing a preparer in the search box. You can also scan the QR code on the bottom of the slide to go to the directory of federal tax return preparers. Use this tool to research tax return preparers near you or to determine the type of credentials or qualifications held by a specific tax professional. All tax return preparers are not in this directory. This directory contains only those with a PTIN who hold a professional credential or have obtained an annual filing season program record of completion from the IRS. We encourage people to report individuals who promote improper or abusive tax schemes, as well as tax return preparers who intentionally prepare improper returns. The IRS created the Office of Fraud Enforcement, OFE, and Office of Promoter Investigation, OPI, to lead efforts against tax fraud. These offices target people and businesses promoting illegal tax schemes or abusive tax strategies to avoid paying taxes. So to report an abusive tax scheme or a tax return preparer, submit Form 14242. Report suspected abusive tax promotions or preparers and any supporting materials online, by mail, or by fax to the IRS Lead Development Center in the Office of Promoter Investigation. Let's talk about how to check where your refund is. So we have a tool that's called Where's My Refund on irs.gov. You can use this tool to check the status of the 2024 income tax refunds just 24 hours after e-filing. Whereas My Refund gives a personalized refund date after the IRS processes the return and approves the refund. It tracks your refund through 3 stages: return received, refund approved, and refund sent. To use this tool, you'll need to provide your social security number, your filing status, whether you're single or married, and the exact whole dollar amount of your expected refund. The refund will show on line 35A of the 2024 1040 on the second page. You can find this helpful tool at irs.gov/refunds. To get your refund faster, the IRS strongly encourages taxpayers to file electronically and choose direct deposit for their refund. Using e-file and direct deposit helps avoid common errors, which can speed up your refund. Returns with errors may require further review, which can delay the refund process. If you owe taxes, paying electronically is one of the easiest and most secure ways to make your payment. There are several options to pay online, by phone, or even a mobile device using IRS To Go app. Here are a few ways to pay. The first one is Direct Pay. Allows you to make a payment directly from your bank account. The second one is credit or debit cards. You can pay your balance using a credit through IRS approved payment processors. Also digital wallets. Some payment processors accept digital wallet options. Also EFTPS, which stands for Electronic Federal Tax Payment System. This is a free service provided by the IRS for scheduling payments in advance. The IRS uses the latest encryption technology to keep your payments secure. Electronic payments are quick, easy, and much faster than mailing a check or money order. Plus, you'll receive a confirmation after submission giving you peace of mind. To avoid delays, the IRS recommends scheduling your payment in advance and using e-file and direct deposit to reduce common errors. So after you prepare your tax return, if you have a balance due, don't put off filing because you owe. And please don't think if you owe more than you can pay that you can't set up payment plans or that you have to pay in full. Depending on the amount you owe, you may be able to apply for payment plan online. We have two types. The first one is short-term payment plan. So if you owe less than $100,000 in combined taxes, penalty, and interest, you can set up a short-term plan to pay off the balance within 180 days. No penalties or interest will accrue during this time if you pay the balance in full by the deadline. The second one is long-term payment plan, which is the installment agreements. If you owe $50,000 or less, you can apply for a long-term plan to make monthly payments over time. Interest and penalties will continue to accrue until the balance is paid off. To apply for payment plan, go to irs.gov/payment plan. You'll need to provide basic information like your Social Security number, filing status, or balance due. It's important to know that with the short-term plan, the penalty and interest rates are locked in for the duration of the plan, even if Congress raises rates. After 180 days, however, any remaining balance will start accruing new interest and penalties at the current rate. Lastly, watch out for a scam targeting taxpayers with payment plans. The IRS will never call or email demanding immediate payment. If you get a suspicious message, report it to the IRS. Tax planning. Tax planning isn't only for the tax season. That should be all year. Year-round tax planning helps taxpayers avoid surprises at tax time and reduces risk of missing out on valuable deductions or credits. By staying informed and proactive, you can ensure that you are taking the right steps throughout the year to minimize your tax liability. The IRS offers Publication 5349, Year-Round Tax Planning is for Everyone, which provides practical tips to help taxpayers stay on top of their taxes throughout the year. This guide covers everything from organizing your records, maintaining a tax preparation checklist, and it explains how major life events like getting married, having a child, or buying a home can impact your tax situation. Form 1099-K. So if you received more than $5,000 in payments for goods and services through an online marketplace or payment app in 2024, you should expect to receive a Form 1099-K in January 2025. So a copy of this form will also be sent to the IRS. Examples of online marketplace or payment apps include platforms like eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. If you sell items to receive payments for services through these platforms, you may receive Form 1099-K. Even though the IRS is taking a phased approach to implementing the Form 1099-K reporting threshold, there is no change to the taxability of income. All income from side jobs, part-time work, or selling goods and services is taxable. Taxpayers are required to report all income on their tax return, even if they don't receive 1099-K. So let's say you received 1099-K by mistake or for personal payments that aren't taxable. You need to reach out to the platform, to the payment platform that issued it to request a correction. So you only report it if you got paid for goods and services. If it's for personal reasons, you shouldn't be paying taxes on it. Good record keeping is key. Keeping detailed records of your payments and transactions will help make filing your taxes easier and ensure you are reporting the correct income. For more information on 1099-K, visit irs.gov/1099-K, and also we have here on the screen 2 publications, so feel free to scan the QR codes to get you there, and it shows you what's taxable, what's not taxable. Next, Crystal will go over how to claim your tax credits and deductions this filing season.
Thanks. And one quick mention about the 1099-K. Like she said, if you do receive one that you feel is incorrect, if you're going to be filing your taxes yourself, you will have to make an entry on the Schedule 1. And if you have questions about that, we're going to provide our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us this filing season. So right now we're going to get ready to talk about claiming tax credits and deductions to help lower your tax bill this season or increase your refund. So the next 4 credits that we're going to explore are the refundable credits, which means a federal tax return must be filed in order to receive them, even if there is no tax owed or you don't have a filing requirement. So there's 4 refundable credits that we're going to get ready to go through. And the first up is the Earned Income Tax Credit, or the EITC. And this is a refundable credit for people who work for someone else or are self-employed, who receive certain disability payments as well. To qualify for the EITC, the amount of income earned must be less than $63,398 this year, depending on filing status and the number of children or dependents that you have. The maximum credit is $7,430, and this is dollar for dollar. A federal tax return must be filed in order to get the Earned Income Tax Credit. Please share publication 962. This breaks down everything that you need to know to see if you're eligible for it. And if you scan that QR code that's on the page, it'll take you right to the assistant, which is a tax tool that will basically walk you through the steps to see if you qualify for EITC. The next credit is the Child Tax Credit, or CTC, which is a refundable credit for people who have eligible children or a child who have a Social Security number, who are under the age of 17 at the end of 2024, and can be claimed as a dependent on your tax return. Now, the credit for this filing season is $2,000 per qualifying child, and that is dollar for dollar. And you can qualify for the full amount this filing season if you meet all eligibility factors and your annual income is not more than $200,000 if you're an individual or head of household, or if you have a joint income of $400,000. Now, parents and guardians with higher incomes may still be eligible to claim a partial credit, so don't let the limits there deter you from filing if you are eligible. Publication 5811 provides an overview of what you can expect with the child tax credit. And then again, the QR code is our IRS Interactive Tax Assistant tool, where you can see if you qualify for the child tax credit as well as the credit for other dependents. If you if you have other dependents that you can claim on your return this year. Excuse me. The next credit that we'll discuss quickly is the American Opportunity Tax Credit, or AOTC. And this is a refundable credit for taxpayers if your income is $90,000 or less, $180,000 for married couples filing jointly, and you've paid qualified education expenses for an eligible college student. The maximum credit for this filing season is $2,500, and up to $1,000 of that credit is refundable. So again, like the child tax credit and the EITC, there's an interactive tax assistant eligibility tool that you can click on to see if you qualify for this tax credit. And then the last refundable credit that I want to mention is the Premium Tax Credit, or PTC. And this is a refundable credit that helps eligible individuals and families recover premiums that were paid for health insurance purchased through the health insurance marketplace. And in order to qualify for this, there are many eligibility factors that must be met. Publication 5120 goes into detail. And one thing that I want to point out about the premium tax credit, we've seen an increase in taxpayers who file their returns and they forget Form 8962. This form is required if you're going to take this credit. If you file a return using guided software, or you file a paper return and you send it in without the Form 8962, it will, if you file a paper return, it's going to be held, and that's going to be one of the things that delay you from receiving your refund if you're entitled to a refund. And so if you have an online account, which we kind of talked about earlier, IRS could correspond with you to let you know what's holding it up. But Form 8962, is required to be filed if you're going to take the premium tax credit, and this form just reconciles payments. Even if you didn't pay for the premiums out of pocket and it was fully subsidized, you have to file this form to receive this credit. And so if you end up filing this year on your own, whether paper form or if you use guided software and you forget Form 8962, we do have a tax tip on our website. You just do a keyword search using the words correct, rejected, 8962, and it will tell you what you need to do in order to get your tax return through to IRS. So the information on this slide and the next are of greatest interest to taxpayers every year. This is our tax credits and deductions page. Here you'll find all the tax credits and deductions that are available to individual taxpayers and businesses alike this filing season. So whether you purchased a home, went to college, had children, adopted a child, purchased an electric vehicle, made energy improvements in 2024 in your home, or you purchased, or if you are a business owner and you made certain energy improvements in your business, this is a page that you definitely want to click on and browse around, especially before the filing season starts. And once you get on the page, you can click on any of those links if they apply to you to see what's out there. And one thing that I want to point out for the credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, American Opportunity Tax Credit, and then the PTC, again, these are refundable credits, which mean even if you don't have a tax due or you do not have a filing requirement, many of our aging taxpayers feel as if they're not working, or they received income for the year but they didn't receive as much, so they're not going to file. You could definitely be leaving money on the table. I'm going to talk about something that's going to be forthcoming in January this year that kind of points to this. So just know, get out there and see, and if you are utilizing a paid tax preparer, ask the questions. And if they're not conversing back and forth with you, answering the questions that you want to know, you may want to think about getting another preparer. And Nor kind of pointed to the tool that we have on our website, where there's many in this area. But if you have a trusted tax professional, I'm sure they'll give you all the answers that you need for your particular situation. So these are your 2024 tax deductions, and please note that the standard deduction as shown has been adjusted for inflation. And when individuals file taxes, majority of taxpayers take the standard deduction, which lets you subtract a set amount from your income based on your filing status. And the standard deduction for 2024 is shown on the screen. If you are over the age of 65 or blind, your standard deduction may be higher. Or if you are a dependent on someone else's return, your standard deduction will definitely be different. So in both cases, see publication 17 for more information. And on our main landing page, irs.gov, in the search box, just type in publication 17 and it'll take you right there. Now, if your deductible expenses and losses are more than the limit shown for the standard deduction, You can save money by deducting them one by one from your income, which we call itemizing. So those are considered your itemized deductions. And if you use a tax filing system or software system this year, it will walk you through your expenses and losses to show which option will give you the lowest tax. So automatically it may default to standard, but if you feel like you've paid out a lot in 2024 where you could receive more credits, try the itemized functionality and then see what it does for your general tax situation. And if you see that you end up owing more, click the button for standard and it'll just switch you right back. But one note that I want to make sure that you guys know, if you are married and you're filing separate from your spouse, one spouse can't take the standard and then the other itemized. Whoever files first, the second spouse have to file whatever that first spouse took. So just make sure you guys talk before you start, sending in your returns. You have to choose the same method. Okay. And so before I turn it back over to Nora, this is the final credit that I would like to share with you this evening. The recovery rebate credit from the 2021 tax return. Just want to let you guys know, IRS will be sending out automatic payments this month to about 1 million taxpayers. And if you remember, the recovery rebate credit was a refundable credit for individuals who did not receive one or more of the EIP payments or the stimulus payments back during the pandemic. The maximum amount is $1,400 per individual, but the actual amount that individuals may receive this January may vary depending on several factors. So if you fail to file or claim your recovery rebate credit on your 2021 tax return, if you receive less than the full amount, or if you filed a claim tax return and you left the data field blank or put a 0 in there, then you may likely fall into that 1 million taxpayer and could receive a check this month up to $1,400, excuse me. If you are eligible to receive one of these payments, there's no action on your end, so you don't need to file an amended return. These special payments are expected to be received by taxpayers by the end of January, and they will be direct deposited into bank accounts listed on the 2023 return. If there is not a bank account listed on the 2023 return, it will be sent in the mail to the last known address known on file by IRS. Now, if you do have a bank account on that 2023 return and it has since closed, it will be returned to IRS, and then IRS will send it via mail to the last known address on file. So we are a few days away from the open of filing season. If your address has changed, you want to make sure you get that information into us as soon as possible. If not, we won't know about it until you file your return. So if you ever move throughout the year and you own a business or you're an individual, you can use Form 8822 or 8822B for business to update your address with us. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Nora, who's going to share some ways you can protect yourself during this filing season.
So let's talk about the Dirty Dozen, which is the list that the IRS puts together every year, which highlights the worst tax scams people should watch out for. These scams can happen anytime, but they tend to pop up more during tax season when folks are filing their returns or hiring someone to help them with their returns. The IRS posted a news release on January 14 announcing some important changes for the 2025 tax season aimed at stopping scams and false claims. So here's what we shared. The first one is the fuel tax credit. Taxpayers claiming these credits will now need to include a statement explaining why they qualify. This change is to prevent people from claiming the credit when they're not eligible. Another one is withholding claims. The IRS will be reviewing other withholding claims more closely to catch mistakes or false claims that could lead to incorrect refunds. Another one is scam prevention. The IRS is also stepping up efforts to discover and stop new tax scams and fraud schemes to protect taxpayers and keep the system fair. These changes are all about making sure refunds go to the right people and preventing improper claims. So I'm going to go over a few common scams. The first one here, phishing and smishing. So these are tricks scammers use to steal your personal and financial information. Phishing happens through fake emails. Smishing happens through fake text messages. These messages usually pretend to be from trusted sources like the IRS, claiming things like, you are owed a refund, you have unpaid taxes, your account is locked, click here to fix it. Don't fall for it. The IRS will never email, text, or message you on social media about your taxes. They contact you by regular mail only. Here are red flags to watch out for. Messages that demand immediate action or threaten you. Promises of unexpected refunds. Suspicious links that take you to fake websites. Message from weird email addresses or unknown phone messages. So what do you do if you get these suspicious messages? The first thing, don't reply, click links, or open attachments. Don't, forward the email to phishing@irs.gov. That's phishing@irs.gov. And delete it to avoid accidental clicks later. The next one we want to talk about is when scammers are targeting people trying to set up an IRS online account at irs.gov. They'll pretend to be helpful, but what they really want is your personal information, like your social security number, address, and photo ID. Once they have that, they can file fake tax returns in your name to steal refunds. Now you might say, well, I'm not getting a refund. Still, they can open credit accounts or loans in your name. They can sell your personal info to other scammers. Only set up your IRS online account through the official irs.gov website. Never let anyone else do it for you. Another one is offer and compromise scam. So the IRS has a legit program called Offer and Compromise, OIC, that helps taxpayers settle their tax debt for less if they qualify. But scam companies called OIC mills are charging people outrageous fees for something they could do themselves for free. Here's what these scams look like. They promise to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar. They charge huge fees for something you can check for free on the IRS website. You can see if you qualify for an offer and compromise using the IRS pre-qualifier tool on irs.gov. So there is no need to pay a third party. Another one which is very popular now is charity scams. That involves fake charities. Scammers take advantage of people's generosity, especially after a tragedy or natural disaster. Here is how to spot and avoid charity scams. Don't rush to donate. Scammers will pressure you to act quickly. Real charities won't. Be careful how to pay. Avoid donations through gift cards or wire transfers. Those are red flags. Use a credit card or a check instead. Verify the charity. Use the IRS tax exempt organization search tool at irs.gov to make sure the charity is legit. Protect your personal information. Don't give out your social security number or credit card details unless you are sure the charity is real. So you might be asking why this matters. Well, only donations to qualified tax-exempt charities can be claimed as deductions on your federal tax returns. Double check before giving to make sure your generosity is going to a real cause. Let's talk about something crucial, trusting tax advice on social media. We've seen how social media can spread inaccurate or misleading tax information, leading honest taxpayers into tough situations. They often spread false information about tax credits, making it seem like more individuals qualify than actually do. This can mislead them into applying for credits they aren't eligible for, potentially resulting in audits, penalties, or fine from the IRS. Always verify tax advice from trusted resources like the IRS website or a licensed tax professional before acting on it. Like Crystal mentioned a minute ago, the IP PEN program the IRS has, so this one helps protect taxpayer from identity theft during the 2025 tax season. So that's a 6-digit number that keeps criminals from filing fake tax returns or stealing refunds using your personal information. The IP PIN is unique because only you and the IRS knows it. Anyone with a Social Security number or ITIN number can get an IP PIN. The easiest way to get one is through the Get My IP PIN tool on the IRS website. Let's go over some key tips for using your IP PIN safely. A few important points to keep in mind. The IRS will never email, text, or call you asking for your IP PIN. If someone does, it's a scam. Keep your IP PIN private. Only share it with your trusted tax preparer or tax software. Don't let anyone else ask for your IP PIN unless it's to complete your tax return. Be careful of scammers trying to steal it. Always enter your IP PIN on your tax return. This applies to all returns, including amended returns and ones for previous years. Doing this step avoids delays and having your return rejected. So for more details, check out publication 5461-B or scan the QR code on the screen. Now I'll turn it over to Crystal to wrap it up.
All right, so there's a lot of information tonight, but before we get ready to wrap up, just want to stress upon you the next few slides that you're going to see. First, starting with the first day of filing season, which is Monday, January 27th, and then the deadline for most taxpayers this year is Tuesday, April 15th. If you need to file an extension this year, you may do so by filing Form 4868 by April 15th. And this is for individuals. Now, the extension to file will give you 6 months to get your filing and any documentation into IRS. And we just want to reiterate that whenever you file an extension, it's an extension to file your taxes, not pay your taxes. The IRS expects if you have a tax liability that it is paid in full April 15th, but if you cannot afford to pay it in full, like Nora shared earlier, there are many different payment options that are available to you. The next important note that we want to share with you this year on the tax return, you're going to see a question for digital assets. The digital asset is a property that is stored electronically and can be bought, sold, owned, transferred, or traded. Some examples of digital assets include convertible virtual currencies and cryptocurrencies, stable coins, and non-fungible tokens or NFTs. So there's going to be a question that you find on that 1040 on the first page, and you have to answer this question yes or no, depending on your specific situation. So if digital assets apply to you this year, we want to just put it out there. Make sure that you're keeping good records that prove your purchase, receipt, sale, exchange, or any other disposition of that asset, and make sure that you include the fair market value measured in US dollars of all digital assets received as income or as a payment in the ordinary course of trade or business. Next, I want to quickly mention Publication 1, Your Rights as a Taxpayer. You have 10 of them. You need to know them. not by heart, but just know that they exist. They exist to ensure that you have a better understanding of your rights when interacting with IRS, and knowing your rights as a taxpayer is truly the first step in navigating the filing season with confidence. On page 1, it lists the different rights, and then on the back side, which is page 2, you'll also find an outline on what you can expect if you're ever audited or go through an examination. There you will also find detailed information about our collection and refund processes. And lastly, what you can expect if you ever need to contact the local taxpayer advocate. And speaking of taxpayer advocate, we have a local advocate here in Detroit, and you can reach out to them for assistance with resolving any problems that you may have with the IRS. And just know that there are no income limits for eligibility. TAS works with individual taxpayers, businesses, nonprofits, and other entities. Now, to request assistance from Taxpayer Advocate, you must use Form 911, and it can be downloaded from our website, irs.gov, or from the Advocate's website directly. Now, once completed, you have 2 options to get it in, one by mail or by fax. And then after it's received by TAS, you'll normally be contacted in about 3 to 7 days based on the urgency of your hardship. So make sure if you do have to use this form for whatever reason, that you specifically spell out what's happening, what your situation is, what the hardship is, because that's going to determine if you're on the earlier end or the later end of them contacting you back. But in either case, they will reach back out to you, and the name and contact information of your case advocate will be provided, and this individual will be your point of contact until your matter is resolved. So the Taxpayer Bill of Rights and Taxpayer Advocate are 2 resources that you need no matter what month it is, what day it is, all year long, because once filing season is over, it may be months later that you get a letter from IRS and you don't know what to do, or you're waiting on a refund and something happens in your family, you're struck with a hardship, the wildfires out there in California. We just don't know. And so just knowing that these resources are available to you is helpful. And again, it's good to know this information all year long, not just during the filing season. So with that said, Nora and I are your local stakeholder liaisons, which means we are your first point of contact to help you navigate IRS. If you have questions, systemic issues that you need help with, or you want to provide us feedback on IRS products and services, our policies and procedures, things that you understand, things that you don't like, we want to know about it. Send us an email, let us know what that is, and we will sometimes elevate those issues up to help get resolution. Nora's in the Detroit office, and I am in Southwest Michigan in Portage, but together we work the entire state of Michigan, so just know that we're here to serve you. And one final note, the QR code on the screen is just a shot at our Michigan events page on irs.gov. If you scan it, or on our webpage, you can type in Michigan tax events in the search box, and it'll take you to our page that lists all the events that are coming up here within the next month or so. Any event that we offer with Stakeholder Liaison is free and open to the public. Sometimes it asks for a registration, but we encourage you to come and be a part, get the tax information. There's changes in tax laws, things are happening. The only way you're going to know about it, unless you are working with a paid professional who shares this information, is by doing the homework yourself. So we would love to see you come and be a part of what we have going on, whether it's a workshop, seminar, a round table, or forum, or if we're out in the community at a table. So don't be afraid. You see IRS and it says Stakeholder Liaison, come on up and say hello. So we want to thank you for being here with us tonight. It's now time to open up the floor. If you have questions, whether you want to ask them in open forum or you want to stick around and ask on a one-on-one basis, Nora and I will stick around a little later to take that information. And if you can't stay, if you have a card or if you want to give us your personal contact information, or we'll give you ours, we can connect one-on-one at a later time. So thank you that ends the presentation for the recording. And now if you have questions, we'll open the floor at this time.